I think we'll get started. Hopefully we've got everyone. Okay, so today we get to talk about wildfires. Ooh, a spider ant. Today we get to talk about wildfires, which is a super cool topic. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about them and also controlled fires, which I don't know if you guys know about those, and how they happen, how they occur, what their effects are, whether they're good or bad. And we're going to talk about how animals are affected by them and plants. We have a little animal component, a skull of an animal, and we're going to talk about how that animal might be affected by a wildfire. And then we get to do our cool craft of building, how to build or create a safe fire, and then we're going to do it. So pretty cool. I actually learned how to build a safe fire when I was around your guys' age, and it's super helpful, and I've used it a lot since. So actually very useful information. Okay. So let me just make sure that no one else is trying to join. Okay, I think we're good. All right, so does anyone know what a wildfire is? Angel?
It's like fires like that you can't control.
Yeah.
Basically like the ones that are in California a lot.
Yeah, California, I was gonna ask, where do they normally occur? California has had a lot of wildfires in the last few years that have been on the news.
I know what they use fires firefighters use fires to like put out the actual wildfires.
Do they use fires to put out the wildfires? That might be a strategy. I don't know as much. I know a few ways that they try to end up controlling them, but I'm not an expert for sure. But that sounds right. I'll have to fact check. But good question. Why else might they occur out west, do you think? What's the weather like out west? Camden said hot. Lennon?
It's hot.
Agreed, hot. Zan says hot. Angel says hot, 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 hot. And also, guys, if I get your names wrong at all, please let me know, because obviously I'm still new here and trying to learn. Camden said dry, and definitely dry is what another one I was looking for. And why do you think that might be a good environment for a wildfire to take place? Dry, hot. Yes, Nicole. So what factors need to occur for a fire to, yeah, it's 70 degrees in Los Angeles. That's actually pretty nice, but LA is typically in the 70s. Some other parts of California can get a lot hotter. Texas 84, and they've happened in Texas too. Las Vegas 84. So this weather is really critical to wildfires, and wildfires need this type of weather to occur. So that's why we hear a lot more about wildfires being out of hand out west, because that type of weather occurs out there. Dryness especially, just like if you're lighting a fire in a fireplace, you need dry wood in order to do that, because dry material burns quicker and better than wet material. And we'll talk more about that when we talk about building a fire that's safe. So how do you guys think climate change might be affecting wildfires and the possibility of wildfires out west or in general? We've been having kind of irregular weather changes, right? And really extreme weather. So wildfires can happen naturally and actually should be happening. We'll talk more about that, but climate change and extreme weather patterns can make wildfires even worse and more out of control, because sometimes, like, we've had really, really bad droughts these last few years out in California, and droughts obviously lead to extreme dryness, and that burns up really quickly. So just some examples. How do you guys think wildfires are caused? What are some ways wildfires might be caused? Like the first flame. We've talked about what can tree to tree, yep, global warming. Yeah, we've talked about the factors that need to occur, like it's being dry and hot, but how do you think that first flame might start? Humans and lightning, Lennon said, totally true. Yeah, like if instant spark, sometimes if it's super dry, lightning's a good example, because lightning could strike a really dry area, and that could result in fire that then turns into a wildfire. Some other natural ways they could occur would be volcanic eruption, but actually 4 out of 5 times that a wildfire occurs is from humans, which is pretty crazy and kind of sad, right? When we hear about these really crazy effects of wildfires, and humans are a lot of the time the cause of it. How might humans set off a wildfire, do you think? Any guesses? How about gas? Yeah. Gas is super flammable. So that's a good example of accidentally starting a wildfire. So humans accidentally do it a lot because they make careless mistakes while building like a campfire. So this past year, I was out west and camping, and there was a campfire ban because wildfires had been so bad this past year that humans weren't even allowed to build a campfire because so many careless errors occur. So say someone brought gas to help ignite their campfire and carelessly, drizzled some gas other places. It's so flammable that, yeah, Zan? Okay. I thought you were saying something, sorry. So if someone drizzled gas other places that wasn't, within the confines of the campfire and it caught fire, then the fire could take off, right? If it wasn't within a safe campfire. People make other mistakes with their fires, just not containing them well or not putting them out before going to bed. Just careless errors like that. So campfire safety is really, really critical, especially if you're in an area that is prone to wildfires. And then sometimes humans do it on purpose, and that's called arson. So has anyone heard of arson before? That is just a vocab word. It doesn't necessarily have to be about wildfires, but it's when someone might set fire to something on purpose. But normally it's crime, so stay away from that. But anyways, pretty crazy. 4 out of 5 wildfires, could result in this, are caused by humans. This is another great example of the smog that can occur hundreds of miles from a wildfire. Your air quality can be really, really impacted. So this is in LA, but wildfires were occurring hundreds of miles outside of LA. Pretty crazy. So we'll talk a little bit about how animals are affected, and also when wildfires can be good. So does anyone know what a controlled fire is? Ben? Oh, your audio's off, I think, even though you're not on mute anymore. There you go. Yep.
It's like when they put a fire up for like a reason, like to like burn down stuff, or maybe a plant needs fire to survive.
Yeah, that's good summary. Anyone else have anything to add? Ooh. Hey, Justin, welcome. We're just, we just finished up reviewing this and we're talking about controlled fire. So Ben just gave a good summary saying sometimes plants need fire. And so this fire would be on purpose. And that's right on. So some firefighters go out and actually start a fire on purpose, but it's controlled so it doesn't erupt into a wildfire. And that is to help clear the forest floor of small plants and shrubs that would burn really easily and quickly. And so before they start the fire, they have a boundary that they know that they'll be burning. And so they're ready and prepared to make sure it stays within that boundary. There's different ways that you can do that. You can just run a rubber line around because it won't burn. So pretty cool. Not an expert on that, but controlled fires are really important because you can actually use them to help prevent uncontrollable wildfires. So the bottoms of the forest are really what burn really quickly and spread the fire, not huge trees. Huge trees would take a lot longer to burn. And so they're normally salvaged during a wildfire. So a firefighter might go in, burn all the little shrubs in one area. The ashes can help fertilize the soil. It can get rid of dead or diseased plants and have a lot of benefits for the forest floor, which is pretty cool. And that's true for some wildfires as well. It's just that wildfires can also be really destructive. So moving on, with that in mind, how do you think some plants may benefit from fire, from having a wildfire or a controlled fire? Yeah, Camden, during a wildfire, winds can get intense for sure. But so the question is, how do you think some plants or animals might benefit from a wildfire or a controlled fire? Ben made a great point earlier when he said some plants might need fire, and that could be due to the fact that fire can get rid of diseased or dead plants and make room for new ones. It also helps fertilize the soil. The ash actually fertilizes it. It can also be good for plants because some plants rely on fire to disperse their seeds, which is pretty crazy. Like a jack pine, which is a tree out west, a type of pine tree, relies on fire to disperse its seeds. So without fire, it wouldn't be able to continue to survive. So pretty crazy. But some plants, some ecosystems can also hurt from the opening up of the spaces. So when the fires come through and burn all of the ground floor, that allows other plants to come in and start growing. Sometimes that means invasive species will come in. Ooh, we have another person who joined. So invasive species might grow faster than the native species and take up that space and then not allow native species to grow. That can happen sometimes. So that's one negative effect that could occur. But how about animals? What do you think animals do when a wildfire occurs? Do you think they stick around? Nicole says run. Yeah. Lennon says run. Yeah. So healthy animals can normally sense when a wildfire is coming and get out in time. Some younger and older animals may be more at risk, right? Some animals will hide in tree logs or stand in streams and just let the wildfire go by and they're safe there, which is pretty cool. And then there are benefits and negatives to animals after the fact. So when a fire comes through and burns up all these shrubs, what do you think that does for animals? That might be, these shrubs might be habitat for animals and stuff. Might take away habitat for a lot of little animals that use that. Deer, like this skull here, and I'm going to move quickly because I just realized we got to get to our craft. They might benefit because they have new types of plant species to snack on, but they also lose a lot of coverage so predators can see them more easily. Any questions on that before we move on? Okay, so I did not kill that deer. This skull has been here a long time, died of natural causes. They just use the skull for educational purposes. Don't worry. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to create a safe fire, and then we're going to do our craft. So you guys have this worksheet to review, so I'm kind of going to skip over some steps just because we're short on time. But as you guys know, 4 out of 5 uncontrollable wildfires are caused by humans. So knowing how to build a safe fire is super duper important. So normally you'd have your wood. I don't know if you guys have ever built a fire in a fireplace or while camping, but the main parts are you start with little pieces of wood that can catch fire more easily, and you put those underneath with maybe something even more flammable like kindling, and put that underneath of larger logs that will catch fire eventually and burn for longer. And so there's a few different styles of campfires. My personal fave is the log cabin style. You guys also might be familiar with the teepee style, but there's also a lean-to style. All basically allow for little wood to be at the bottom and kindling and things that burn easily with bigger pieces of wood over top of that. Because as you guys know, heat goes upwards, flames go upwards, and so you want the larger logs to catch fire and burn for longer. And so they go over top of the little ones. So you guys can choose what type of style you want to do, whether it's log cabin or teepee, and I'll show you both. So log cabin would honestly look like this little box here, but imagine they are logs, obviously. And you would put little kindling and maybe newspaper or something flammable underneath them, and then they would burn upwards. I like that style. I think it's easy to build in a fireplace. Does anyone think they know what teepee style is? Grayson's holding one up. Yeah, and in a perfect world, it'd be kind of like a triangle like that. And if you only have 3 popsicle sticks, it's no biggie. You can still do a log cabin just like that. Or you can break your popsicle sticks into multiple logs to layer it and make it bigger. So moving on to the craft sheet.
What are you gonna use? What are you gonna use the blue and white paper for?
What?
The blue and white paper.
You have white paper?
Blue and these. Blue and white.
You have blue and white paper. Are you sure that's not for a different craft? Or were you given, you got some orange. Okay, good.
I have orange, yellow, red.
What?
I have orange, yellow, red. Oh, that's what blue. Did we already do blizzard?
Yes, we did blizzards. Yeah, that was for, okay, cool. So, I mean, you can use whatever tissue paper you want. You know, I'm glad you also have the orange and red and stuff. But whatever you want. Also blue, you can see blue in a flame sometimes, right? You know, at the tip. Okay, but I'm going to show you guys a few steps since we are running out of time on how to create our little makeshift fire. So I'm going to get my tissue paper. We've also got glue and we've got popsicle sticks. Okay. I'm going to get my tissue paper together first and I kind of just layered them on top of each other and then just pinched it together. You do it however you want. You know, fire is obviously, it's not a perfect form. It's lots of different shapes and can be however you want to do it. Yep, Lennon looks good. Like that. Whatever you want to do. And then I'm going to glue my popsicle sticks in a log cabin formation, or actually I liked Grayson's TP formation too, which you can do. And as you can see, they kind of do that with the toilet paper rolls. Just they meet in the middle. I might do that because it might be a better base to glue my tissue paper onto. And just call out if you have any questions in case I miss you. Yeah, Ben?
How do we make the fire again?
So I'll show you what I did, but it really can be kind of whatever shape you want since fire's, you know, pretty crazy looking, not a significant shape. So I'm going to take these and layer them, just one on top of the other, and then my yellow too. I know we send home like kind of a hodgepodge of shapes and colors, and I layered them on top of each other like that. And then I'm just gonna pinch it like that and just twist it a little at the bottom. Like that. But like I said, fire is crazy substance. As you all know, it can turn into a wildfire and take on many shapes. So it's kind of whatever you want to make it into. But call out if you have any more questions. I can always show that again. Have any of you guys ever helped build a campfire? Grayson says yes, Lennon says yes, Angel says yes. Pretty fun. I love having a campfire and roasting marshmallows. Kaylee says yes. Do you guys like s'mores? Me too. They're the best part of the fire. Yeah, Angel?
I just wanted to say that I really like fires. I don't know why though.
What?
I honestly like fires, but I just don't know why.
Because they're fun to look at, they're warm. I don't know. I like them too. They're fun to sit around with your friends and family. They set a different type of atmosphere, right? And if your tissue paper is not sticking together once you put it on the popsicle stick a little glue in there too. I'm gonna do that. Zayon hasn't made a campfire. That is okay. I bet you will one day. All right, well, it is 4:32. We are after time. I know I did a lot of rambling about wildfires, but I hope you guys learned some stuff. Main takeaways being wildfires can be good, but sometimes they get too out of control. And that most of the time humans are the main cause. Cool, Kaylee, just saw your chat. She has made a fire